What are some of the most fascinating historical mysteries? To get this started and actually bring up one of my favorites, I have been deep into the Martin Guerre rabbit hole, and at this point, I'm unsure what to think. A quick rundown for the interested. Martin Guerre was a 16th century French peasant who one day left his home village and family behind. Lost a decade later, he miraculously returned, or so the accounts claim. And for the next 3 years, his entire family, including the wife with whom he fathered 2 children in that time, and villagers all thought he was Guerre himself. However, at one point, he got into an argument with his paternal uncle concerning money, because what else, and was swiftly accused of not being actual Martin Guerre, but an impostor named Arnaud de Till, taken to court for the perceived crime. He provided an extensive recollection of the life before his disappearance, including intimate details of the relationship with his wife, which he corroborated as the two were questioned independently, and their stories matched. In fact, she was there to testify on Chi's behalf, although she finally admitted she believed he was her husband at the beginning, and then realized he wasn't. Regardless of his perfect recollection, he was found guilty of impersonation and sentenced to death, which he appealed. Then, to everyone's surprise, a man claiming to be the real Martin Guerre appeared. Interestingly though, he could not recall his life as well as the supposed impostor, but when stood next to him, the family instantly claimed he was in fact the real Guerre. At that point, the impostor admitted he duped everyone after learning of Guerre from 2 men who thought he was him. Supposedly, 2 collaborators later fed him details of Guerre's life to help him set up the impersonation. The impostor was executed, and the now truly returned Martin Guerre resumed his life in the village. The story, while definitely fascinating, seems closed, right? Well, exactly. Many questions remain unanswered to this day. Who actually gave the impostor all those specific details about Guerre's life? How did they know so much about his intimate family dealings? Or was it all a lie the impostor made up? If so, where did he learn all he used to impersonate? Why did the entire family went along with the impersonation? Some experts claim they did, despite knowing he wasn't the real Guerre from the beginning. Due to propriety, Guerre's wife needed a man to take care of her and the family affairs. Some others claim, however, that the family, the wife, actually was genuinely duped after not seeing her husband in nearly a decade. Is it genuinely possible, though, to forget how your husband and the father of your children actually looks and behaves? Why did real Guerre suddenly return, and exactly at the time the trial about someone impersonating was happening? Why was everyone just fine with an honestly absurd situation of having lived with an impostor for years, having his children, and then just swapping to the real husband and continuing to live together till death? Did Martin Guerre even really exist? With as many unknowns as here concerning the case, there's been voices suggesting the case is actually nothing more than a made-up story. So, any other historical mysteries as fascinating as this one? Sources: